Now, if I were to mention to you all yeah, Mike is not here. Don't worry, he's not just gonna pop up out of nowhere.
John Travolta meme.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where is he?
I don't know.
These people need his hair. They need his beard.
Don't worry,
Maybe if
don't
we
worry.
Put my beard and your hair together. We can compensate.
You know what, guys. Hold on. No need, guys. No need.
Okay.
Instead, what I'll do is I'll run that beautiful ad at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
So count it down. 3, 2, 1. So,
Sexy.
feel better?
Yes.
Feel better?
Much. Thank
I hope you all enjoyed that. Because, we usually have that running at the beginning, and if you're wondering what that is, that's actually an ad for our Patreon page, which
you should subscribe to.
Which you all should go to. If you can't afford to come by and support us, then hey, at least check out our stuff. We post stuff on there all the time. For people that just come by and just have fun, and hey, I'm always on there, and I'm actually surprised our comment section on there isn't as active as it is. I've gotten like 3 or 4 comments in the last 2 or 3 days, and I'm just like, daggone, man, come on. I mean, at least like, try and talk to me on here. Yeah, pretend. I mean,
we like fake love too.
Yeah.
So. Anyway,
not to mention that's part how Nate pays me a paycheck to help him edit the videos.
And, I pay him.
I really appreciate that because I got bills, man. So
yeah, I pay him and Northbridge, which Northbridge did deliver on a new set of reactions earlier actually late yesterday. I say early today because it was like at 6 a.m. this morning. But
he's doing the big ones.
Yeah, he's doing the anime and reactions and stuff like that, which we will be releasing more of those, and you can look forward to that. But for right now, we are actually doing a movie trailer to a film that I've been very hotly anticipating because I don't know if I've ever said this to you all, but I used to be a big gearhead, like a big car head. I mean, I loved classic cars, and what got me into it was my grandfather, Palsy. He was a mechanic for the better part of 20 years. And 20 years. When I say 20 years, I mean at like the age of 7, he started working with cars with his dad, and thus he always developed a love of cars. And then he came up into being like a full-fledged mechanic in the 60s when muscle cars, the peak of what a lot of people consider the peak of American car design, which I can't really disagree with that. I mean, outside of Tesla nowadays, which is which is like a friggin' rocket ship, I swear, if I ever get one of those, we're going on a road trip and I'm letting it drive the entire way.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, it would be. But at the time, in the 1960s, there were several names associated with performance, but there was one that was always on the tips of people's tongues, especially in the early 60s. Ferrari. Ferrari was, in a lot of people's minds, unbeatable when it came to quality and when it came to durability. Because there's a race called the 24 Hours at Le Mans. It takes place in France, and it's pretty much a 24-hour race, and whoever completes the most laps wins. And every year throughout the 60s, pretty much from 1960 to 1965, Ferrari dominated. Ferrari just destroyed anything and everything that came close. Henry Ford wanted to get into the performance game, performance engine game, and thus decided, hey, Ferrari, you mind selling me a couple Ferraris? I'd like to study your designs and all this and all that. And Ferrari pretty much told Henry Ford II to get bent.
Bad idea.
Yeah, Henry Ford II then said, all right, Lee Iacocca, I want you to go find me the best car designer, and I want you to find me a driver crazy enough to make this shit work.
Is the Shelby Cobra involved in any of this?
In some ways, yes. He contacted one man, a small designer from Leesburg, Texas, by the name of Carroll Shelby, And Carroll Shelby gave a recommendation of a driver by the name of Ken Miles, a British-born American, a naturalized American citizen, who honestly was just a nut. The guy was crazy. Like if it had 4 wheels on it but had no safety regulations, he didn't care. Honestly, he didn't care. If it didn't have a seatbelt, he didn't care. He was just like
probably didn't have a seatbelt at that point in time.
Well, they did, but his motif remained the same. If he could drive it, he would try and drive it. That's just who he was. And and they pretty much went to war with Ferrari at the 1960s. Originally they had a design team build a Ford GT that went to the 1965 Le Mans, and it performed well, but eventually it gave out. I believe it was its gearbox that gave out, so it couldn't shift gears and all that. So they had to go back to the drawing board, and thus they called up Carroll Shelby, and thus Ford versus Ferrari.
Awesome.
And here we go. This is
I was just gonna say Ferrari to me was always a joke in like elementary and middle school, where it's like, just talking about being rich.
I'm gonna drive my Ferrari.
Oh yeah, like let me hop in my fucking Ferrari and go over and.
Oh yeah.
For me, it was a Lambo. For me, it was
some fucking
Lamborghini.
champagne.
Still Italian, but still, yeah.
For me, it was I'm gonna hop on my skateboard because fuck riding in a car. I can't drive. I'm broke.
Right.
And that's still to this day.
True.
True to my life.
But I also have
hopefully here soon that'll change, man.
I've been more interested in cars since then, so I have a better appreciation now. So I'm still learning, but I kind of want to be a mechanic. It's real expensive for tools and stuff to go to school with. So.
From everything that happened, there was something that came out of it. It gave birth to the Ford GT40 Mark II, which a lot of people consider to be probably the best race car of all time.
The Shelby Cobra, though.
Well,
beautiful.
no. Well, I know, and
Beautiful.
it actually had the Shelby Cobra engine in it, the 427 big block.
Just that body, man. I love that thing.
Yeah, well, anyway, we got the trailer queued up here. Let's give it a watch. There it is. Can't beat that design, dude. That body.
Is that who I think it is?
Yep. Christian Bale.
Hell yeah.
It's the perfect lap. You see it?
I think so.
Most people can't.
Let's do it in an accent.
Carroll Shelby, maybe? Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor. Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen. Win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What about speed? You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult.
No, Ken's a puppy dog.
The mad bastard, Ken Miles.
No. Trust me.
You're gonna build a
Rolling
car
Stones.
to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them that you needed? 200, 300 years?
90 days.
This isn't the first time Ford Motors has gone to war. We know how to do more than push paper. Go ahead, Carroll. Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster. And that don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history.
You ready?
I was born ready, Mr. Shelby. Hit it.
He wasn't ready.
No, he won't.
Crying like a little bitch.
I felt bad for him.
I do too. I mean, honestly,
He wasn't ready.
he wasn't ready. As Kevin Hart was like, no, he wasn't ready. God.
I mean, they didn't even have color TV back then. This man's just.
Well, they did, but only certain channels carried it.
I'm sure his rich ass had a color TV.
He probably did. He probably did. But yeah, dude. I mean, effectively, Ford versus Ferrari jump-started the American muscle car revolution. I mean, because in the early '60s there were some pretty good muscle cars, but by the late '60s and early '70s, there were some monsters pumping out of Detroit. I mean, you had the Shelby. Well, you had, of course, the Ford Fastback. You had the Corvette. You had the Roadrunner. You had the Roadrunner. You had the you had the Dodge Daytona. You had so many great muscle cars just being pumped out of Detroit, and they all had these big block V8s in them. And
the Judge.
Yeah, the Judge. Yeah, the Pontiac GTO Judge. God, dude, so many great cars. Yeah, the Mustang Mach 1. Yeah, dude. The Mustang Mach 1, the original Eleanor, not the 1967 Shelby GT500, but the GT500 is just a better looking car than the Mach 1. I'm sorry, I know. And then, of course, you had the Dodge Charger and the Challenger, which, have you ever seen the movie Vanishing Point? In that movie, there is a beautiful white Dodge Challenger. He's pretty much just a guy on the run from the law, and it's honestly it's one of the most strange, but honestly one of the most awesome car chase movies ever, because it doesn't really give you that much of a story. It just goes. It's just like, and you don't really know who this guy is, but you're following him and you're seeing what he's doing, and it's just like, wow. And one big part of it was the car. A lot of people attribute that car to being a symbol of just independence and going out on your own and doing what you want. And
this one was the GT, right?
Yeah, that's the GT40.
I didn't know what the Ferrari was. I had never seen that one before.
The Ferrari?
Very bubbly. The one that was.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was back then, dude. I mean, the Italian performance cars back in the day had that design, had the bubbly design because of aerodynamics. They felt
like some shit off Speed Racer.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, that's actually one of the artists who did Speed Racer. That was one of his biggest inspirations. The Italian and German muscle car or German performance cars of the 60s and 50s and 60s had that bubble design, and thus it translates over into Speed Racer. I mean, inspiration comes from anywhere and everywhere, because the Ford GT40, it's an amalgamation of all the different disciplines of car manufacturing. As a matter of fact, the other lead driver for the Shelby American team was a man by the name of Bruce McLaren.
Oh,
sounds familiar.
The McLaren F1, the fastest car in the world back in the early 2010s. That was his company. So a lot of people, a lot of like really big car designers during this time that rose to prominence throughout the 60s and 70s came from this race. Wow. They came from the 24 Hours at Le Mans. And Ferrari, they really weren't prepared for what Ford was bringing to the table, because they coasted. You see, that's the problem. You see, it whenever you coast through things and when you don't try to innovate and keep moving forward with designs, you're going to get passed up. That's just how it is in almost every industry.
In anything. I've been guilty of that in my personal life.
Same here. I mean, here with I grew complacent with how the channel was going. And I'm saying this to you now, guys, because I want you to, if you're still tuning in, I grew complacent because, honestly, I was afraid. I was afraid of trying new things and doing different things. But now I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to try out different things. I'm not afraid to go out and try and do better.
Hey, did you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah, just bolt upstairs.
Well, I'm proud of you, dude.
Hey, I'm proud of you too, Chad.
No joke.
But this looks interesting, and also I scanned down into the comments section before the video started, and I saw a bunch of people making Batman jokes. Because it's just like my name's Carroll Shelby, and performance is my game, and and all of a sudden it's like Batman. Does it come in black? I'm like, son of a bitch.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, it's like Ford GT40. Does it come in black?
I need you to find me a gum driver that'll drive anything through the gates of hell. Done. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Call Bruce.
Call Bruce. Bruce McLaren, sir? No, Bruce Wayne.
The Dark Knight drives us.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited for this. I can't wait. God. So for those of you out there who are interested in watching this, let us know in the comment section down below. I mean, who do you back, Ford or Ferrari? I mean, honestly, it's up to you. Because hey, this rivalry in some ways is still going because people are still talking about it here 50 plus years later, which is amazing to me. But anyway, I guess it's going to do it for this. So until next time, signing off. I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chad.
And if you want to check out more, we have the Patreon down below and the Discord, and we'll see you then. Peace out.